Okay. Hello everybody. Alright, so I'm a moron. And I try to clean up the files for you guys. And I kind of deleted the level that we made in the previous stream. So we're basically gonna be doing something a little bit different today. I upgraded the project. So we're now looking at 4.17. There's still a couple of glitches here and there with it, but yeah, anyways, that's fine. So what's gonna happen is I went and found a couple of example blueprints on how world generation works, like procedural, and we're actually doing our own now because the previous one doesn't really work that well, and I was hoping to just get like a quick understanding of a way to make it go. So let me show you what it does. I'm going to deactivate mine, and I'm going to activate this one. Sure, level dimensions is like 5 by 5, and starting position is 5 times, let's say, what was it, 5 times 2,500 divided by 2. There we go. So minus 6250. Okay, and this one as well. Number of rooms 16. That's fine. Room dimensions is 2,500 by 2,500. Okay, so this is like the shit. Let's see what I mean by it doesn't want to save the level. I don't know why. So whatever, that's fine. Okay, so if we now press play, I want to just simulate rather. It will create the level, but it does this like weird thing. So there you see it creates the level, but it doesn't rotate things the right way, and I want to fix this blueprint up. So it's sort of going to be like this, seeing as I lost the previous level. So what I'm going to do now is I'm basically going to continue coding the generation of the world. As you can see, I'm setting up some functions. I didn't really too much. I'll explain what everything does. So we have a condition called active. This is just for testing. It's not going to be used a lot. I'm going to take it out eventually. So if active, then we can set the world settings and then set the points on the grid. So what happens is we set the world settings. So 1 second, while I think about it, we need to also drag this number of rooms out over here. Okay, cool. So when we set the settings, we set the amount of how big the world is in height and width, and the amount of rooms that are going to be in the world. So, for example, let me quickly find a nice little thing here. 1 second. I wonder if this will pick up what I needed to pick up. Window. 1 second. Alright, so now that I'm back, sorry about that. So here's what's gonna basically happen. So we create a world. Where the hell my pen is?
No, they didn't.
Okay, so when the thing gets created, it's basically, here's our world. There it is. And this is like height of 6 by 9. Let's say this is 9. So basically what this means is it's basically going to create, in this direction, it's going to create 6 cubes like so. In 2, that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is actually a 5. It's not a 6, I lied. This is 5. So there we go. This creates basically a grid. So this is 5. Right, that's not what I was looking for. Brush, there we go. Okay, so there we go. So it creates the world. So this is 5. And then in this direction, we basically need 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here, this basically creates the grid. So that means that we have a certain amount of rooms, which is then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, by 5. So 9 by 5. Hello, PGT. So then, let me just get a brush, this is a bit easier. 9 by 5 is 45. So basically we have a maximum of 45 rooms, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just, my maths is definitely right. 9, 18, 27, yeah, 45 rooms. So that means that we have 45 spaces in which we can put a room. So for example, I'm going to do this triangle. So we're going to start like somewhere here. So we enter. Then we're going to basically move this triangle. We're going to say, okay, so here we're going to create the starting room. So we create the room. Then we need to, I just realized this is not Photoshop, so I can't just move the layers. Yeah, I'm doing the procedural stuff now because I lost the level when I was cleaning out the project. That's why I haven't uploaded the files yet. So, I don't know if I actually showed you this. Let's plop down a plane quick. Actually, no, we don't need one. We just need to launch. Smart. Okay, so I don't know if I showed you guys this, but basically I got the mana stuff working. I got spells working. And obviously that cube thing is still working. So these are actually projectiles. And they will damage things when they hit them. They can also damage you. I need to get close enough. There you go, see? It damaged me because it exploded. Certain walls are still... There you go, it died. So, yeah, I got that to work. All the spells, well, mostly. I got the base of basic spells working. Okay, so Control S doesn't work in 4.17, which kind of sucks. So, now, I'm going to remove this world generator because it's useless for now. And we're going to activate this one. So when we press play, you'll see we create a total area of 6. Okay, we're going to go, height was what? 5 and 9. So the number of rooms will be, out of the 45 rooms, so we have 45 spaces, as I was explaining. Sorry, you threw me off for a second. So we create the first room, then we want to move up a bit, or we want to pick a direction to move in. So basically what we're going to do is, when we create the first room, we're going to say, okay, so pick a number between 0 and 3, and then we're going to do a select on that. So, oops, a bit bigger. So we're going to do a select, so it will be like select by number. So this will be movement. So movement number. Select by the movement number between 1, 2, 3. So it'll be like 0, 1, 2, or 3. And what happens then is, if it's 0, then it's move up. If it's 1, then move right. If it's 2, it's move down. If it's 3, then we move left. So basically we're working on the system of north being 0 degrees. I'm just going to do a little star there. Then east being 90 degrees. Right, then south being 180 degrees. And west being 270 degrees. So that's how we're going to basically decide which way we're going to be moving. So what we do is we're working in this blueprint. It's basically going to work in the sense of we are looking at it from the top. I really need to figure out how to get a camera onto this piece of paper. I guess I could. Do something like this, maybe. This could probably work. Let me just get my pen. Let's see if this will work. I might be able to just do this on paper. It'll be a little bit easier. Just gonna grab a. Let me grab a video camera capture that's not even connected. Well done, genius. A genius. It's the 3D printer being disconnected. That's the camera connected. Okay, fantastic. So video capture. Don't make it visible just yet. I want to make sure that it can see properly. Okay, so oh, that's so strange. Okay. Oh, yes, that's actually perfect. Okay, cool. Crossbar.
Їх не питав, може англійською мовою.
Тільки українською. I don't want audio. Okay, that's fine. So it's just I'm going to show you guys like a full screen of this for now. So yeah, how we're going to do the procedural generation is in I don't know if you guys will actually see that. What if it'll refocus? There we go. Okay, so how we do it is we have our grid of XY. Right, so here is our world that gets generated. So we're going to start here. This will be our 0, 0, 0, 0. Right? Oh, wait, I actually I might be able to invert this image. Flip vertically. No, I think that's gonna, yeah, that's good. Oh, wait, no, actually that works. I'll clear out a word and see. Okay, no, vertically is not the right way. Okay, I guess this will be fine. Okay. So, what happens now is, I should actually see what this looks like. Full screen. Actually, I might just be able to zoom in on the paper as well. There. No one really needs to see my ugly mug there. Oh. There we go. Okay, that's the best you guys are gonna get. It's a shitty camera, okay? I'm poor. What about vertically then horizontally? Yeah, no, it's OBS. I don't know how to do it. Anyway, so we have 0, 0. So what happens is now, when we generate the world, I can actually close paint now. Don't save. So when we generate the world, and we press play, you can see in the top, it says world size is 9 by 5. So that means we have 9 room units. So we have 9 rooms horizontally. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we have 5 units up. So we have this section again. So we have 5 of these times 5. So we have 5 of these little rows. See over here. So what happens is now we get that here. So number of rooms, obviously, we'll say, okay, so out of these 45 blocks that we have over here, 1, 2, 4, 5, here and here, So out of all of these blocks, how many of them are actually going to be rooms? So we say, okay, so we're going to start here. This will be a room. This is a room. Then we're going to decide a random direction. So we're going to say, okay, we're going to move up. Then this will be a room. Then we're going to say, okay, move this way now. And we're going to do this the amount of rooms. So then this will become a room. So if our room number is 16, we're going to decide on a random direction to move 16 times. So then we can say something like, okay, we're going to go up. So this will become a room. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to go up to here. And this will be 5. But we hit a wall. So then what we're going to do is we're actually going to backtrack a little bit. So we're going to go back one and see, okay, so we need to create one this way now. Then we're going to create one here. So this will be 6. Then we're going to go this way again. So this will be 7 and so on. So whenever we hit a wall or a dead end, we're just going to backtrack. Or if we hit another room. So if we, for example, got to about here and we decide to go up and we can't go left. So then we can just go down. Or if down is blocked by something, then we just move back and then move down. So basically, we're just going to have a system that decides in a random way to move. 1 second. 77, who's 77? Okay, I need to take that. 1 minute, guys. Alright, so wait. So we're gonna basically now do the whole well, right now we set up the world size and the number of rooms. So I'm gonna just delete this because we don't need it anymore. Okay, so that was just a print string for debugging information, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a return. I just want to return the node, just so it finishes. Alright, then what's the next thing? After we set the world settings, then we set the points on the grid. Now this is basically going to take our array. Is there a way for me I guess I could just keep switching between the two. Alright, so when we set the points on the grid, wait, let me see, maybe I can get something like this. Yeah, I can probably do this. Alright, cool. So when we set the points on the grid, so our room, for example, so this is our world over here, and each of our rooms is basically a blueprint. So the room is a blueprint of, let me show you the rooms, I guess. I'm going to just say continue, because it's fine, Control-Shift-S. Alright, so I'm going to show you the rooms quick. So here we go. Here's our, for example, here is a room with two sides open, okay? So here's our room. It has a giant arrow in the middle, just so I could see everything properly. It has 2 walls and a statue in the middle. Now, at the end of it, we're basically going to have things set up where this room is going to have all the little blueprints that it needs on it as well, and we'll just spawn this blueprint into the world. So it's not just going to be a mesh, it's going to be a full-on blueprint, and that way it will create a more procedural and more lively feeling world. So as you can see, we have 5 floor meshes. We only need 1 technically. I just made 5 because that way we can change the size of the room a little bit easier. If we wanted to make a hole in here, we can just say, meh, no floor. And here will be like a lava trap or whatever. You know what I mean? So it can literally be anything. So this is our 1 room. So what that happens is, now we know that each one of these things is 500 wide. And there's 5 of them. So it's 500 by 5, which will then be 2,500. So that means our room dimensions are 2,500 times 2,500, because we have a square room. We're doing square spaces, and thus a square room. Alright, so that's easy to understand, right? So that's what this is now going to do. So it goes onto the world height, and it does a double for loop. So it will say, for the height, do the following, and then it's going to do, so it's going to say for each x, do the following, and it's going to say for each y in that x, do the following. So it's going to take our x point, times it by half of our room dimensions. So what we could do is we could technically say something like this. We could create a new variable and just say room size. And this is something like a vector 2D. Cool, so we just grab the room size over here. Then we want to split the pin, and all you do is you just times it like so. It's getting a little bit too compact. So room size y, my bad, this is going to the wrong one. So there we go, y and x. So that way our world will basically be created in such a way that our grid for spawning each room, so here's our center, the grid for spawning each room will fall here. So this is grid 0, 0, and this center of this room is grid 0, 2, 5, 0, 0. And that way we'll be able to create our little rooms as we go, according to the world size. So now, since we created that, we also need to add it into our set world settings. So we need to set the room size, and then return. So here will be our room size, compile. In the event graph, when we play it, we just go room size. Great. Save. So when we go into the main level and we save everything, we can now set the room size to 2,500 by 2,500. Damn it. 2,500. Great. So that's our room sizes. See what I mean? It doesn't save the levels, which is very strange. So let's just change the defaults as well to 2,500, because we're going to be deleting and putting this stuff back, and it's just going to be a slip. So for all the programming, technically not. You can do this very easily in Blueprints. That's the main reason I'm doing it in here. The C++ side, it's basically going to do the exact same thing. It's just this is more visual. You must remember, Blueprints are literally C++, but in a visual sense. And honestly, I don't want to get into the C++ on this, because it's a slip. Like, I need a good 2 weeks to get into the C++, but the problem is time. So, oops. Just repositioning my piece of paper. Alright, so let's continue. So now what we do is we set the points on the grid, and we make a grid array. So then what we can actually do is if we print out this grid array, it will show us the points of 0, 0, then 0, 2,500, then 0, 5,000, 0, 7,500, 0, 9,000, and so on and so on. So that way we know the actual size of our world. I prefer C++, but there isn't a whole lot of documentation on it. Yeah, you see, and that's the other issue, is the documentation is so outdated. I think the C++ documentation is still from version 4.5 or 4 or something, so it's not worth getting to the C++ now until they fix all the documentation and all the API. And I mean, if you know C++, go ahead. It's basically the exact same thing. You just need to think of how you do this in code. But yeah. Alright, so then we return the world spawn points. Then, what we need to do, so this is our begin play. We set the spawn points on the grid, and then we need to generate the world. So here is our world. It's all set up already, so we don't actually need to do anything besides, well, we don't even need to return the spawn points. Oh no, we do. Yeah, okay, so this, we need to have an input for the world spawn points. So here's going to be our world spawn points. I called it that because that's literally where our world will be spawned. There are the points. This is a vector 2D array. Well, yeah, it's an array of 2D vectors. So just width and height, so x and y. And that's what's going to get passed into that. So generate world. So we know our world height and our world width, right? So this is basically how many times something's going to be done. This is like a loop index in a sense. So what we can actually do, we can either times them again, or you can just do something like this. So we're going to have a local variable and just call this the main loop index. So this is actually going to be an integer, and it's where our current cursor, this little circle, this one over here, where it currently is. So that's what's going to be set. So what we need to do is, the first thing we need to do is get, it's just length. It's not get, it's just length, and we need to set the main loop index. And then we actually need one more. It's not the main loop index, and this is what can we call this variable? This is like the end of the main loop index. So this is the highest the index will ever be. So let's call this just, I'm just going to call it end loop int. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the end loop int to the length -1. We can either do it here, or we can just, there we go, do that, or we can do it the other way, where we get the set loop int and then we minus from it immediately once off. Alright, so now what we do is we need a for loop, not a for each. Actually, we could do a for each loop. So well, actually no, first of all we need to get our center, because actually, wait, yeah, let's start off easy. Let's first create a room which is going to create a simple floor for each point in the room, right? So here's our spawn points. So for each point in our array, I want to spawn actor from class. Now the class, I have a class and it's just called room 4c1. This is just a room without any connections. It's literally just a blank room with an arrow in the top. Alright, so damn, the camera is blocking my view for everything else. So the class is that. Now what we need is we need to grab this and we need to split it. We need to make a transform. So here what we're going to do is, this will basically handle the room. Well, actually this is probably going to be into create room rather, but we'll move this function just now. So the location is x, y, and the rotation will be 0 for now. Fantastic. So if we compile now, and we go to viewport. No, save current. It's going to fail. That's fine. But it actually does still save. Hey, X Dragon. So, world generator 2, it is active. Our world height will be 5 by 5. Our number of rooms will be 25 for now because it doesn't matter. That doesn't actually do anything yet. Continue. I'm going to press play. Okay, and we are inside an arrow. But here is our world. It has generated from 0 all the way out. So I'm actually just going to eject from the player. And here is our 5 by 5 world. 6 by 6. Okay. That is interesting. Generate world. Set points on grid. Oh, right. Right, my bad. There we go. That's why, because it's an index, it's not a... That's right, okay. My bad. I was just about to say, wait, what? That was just me being dumb. Okay, so we just need to -1 from the world width and height. So there we go. Should now be 5 by 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. What are we doing in this video? We're doing random world generation. As you can see, this is our beautiful level. It has a cube where we spawn and nothing else. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this room, the room master blueprint that I have, and I'm just going to make that arrow a bit smaller because it's extremely obnoxious when it's that big. I'm just going to raise it off the ground by like 100 units. So now we shouldn't run into it. There we go. 5 by 5. Fantastic. So that's now creating the rooms. So what we do now is we are now going to have, well, let's actually move this to the proper place. So the set points and grid is fine. Generate world. So what we now need to do is actually, this is going to actually create a room. So for that, basically going to, for each loop, we're going to create room. So create room. Just thinking of the order here. Would this be the right order? I'm going to take this camera off so you guys can see a bit more. Yeah, I did a couple of things off camera just to make it a little bit pretty. Let's see, how would be the best way to do it? So for each, we can either create like a room and call it empty for now. So we can create like a placeholder for the room. No, wait, we're gonna have to. Hold on, I'm just thinking, what's the best way to do this? So we have. Damn, I had this all planned out in my head on the way home today, and now I'm screwed. Okay, so let me just think. Let me think. We have. So we have a position. Okay, I guess what we could do first is get the middle, right? Well, we could just make a function. Okay, let's make a function called get middle of world. So get the middle of the world, what we do is we need to pass it that vector 2D. So this is a world spawn. Actually, no, we can just get the world height and world width from here and then select it that way. Okay, so it's going to return the, so we have world height, world width. So what we do is we get the world height. We need to now divide it by 2. Or do we? No, we don't need to divide it by 2. We can just times. Times it. It'll probably be by a float, and we get the room size. We need to break this. So we get world height, which is the wrong thing in the beginning. Because now when I'm thinking height, wait, height would be, yeah, okay, so width is x, y is height, now we just need to do a little bit of math to this, basically, just to figure out where is our middle. So we have our room sizes, we times it by the world height, and then all you do is you just divide by 2. Divided by 2 and divided by 2. I'm going to quickly just print these out and see if they're correct. So, there we go. Print string, and here's a format for text, right? Format text, there we go. Result goes into that. I do a lot of debugging because it's just middle of world x and y. So x width, y height, perfect, print a string. So in the event graph, before we generate the world, I want to get, actually we could do it before we set points, that way it will look a little bit neater, I guess. So get middle of the world. Okay, so compile. So now we're going to press play. Okay, so middle of the world is 6,250 and 6,250, which is, if we grab a calculator just so that we're sure, 5 times 2,500 equals 12,500 divided by times 6 divided by 2 is 6,250, which is perfect. So that is our middle. So we will always try and find the middle of our world, and then we will return that. So what happens if we have something like a room where it's, actually wait, is that one of the points on here? Would that be one of the points? I guess let's find out. Set spawn points. So when you complete, before you return, I want to do a for each, right, the grid array. I want to print a string. I just want to make sure that we have that as one of our options, actually. And then return an array. Sure. You press play. 0, 0. Okay. 0, 0. That is strange. That is very strange. Oh, wait, room size. 2,500. What about here, though? That's also right. Set the points on grid. So is this not returning the array, or what's happening? What if we just print? Oh, wait, right, because it's, damn it, it's just printing the element, so it's just printing the array. So what I want to do is just split. I guess this should have actually worked. No, this should work. X, Y, yes, this should work. Grid array add. Completes it. Interesting. The middle of the world works fine. So why does X... This was just working, yeah, like yesterday night. This was working just before I exited. Just quickly print the length of grid array. Every loop body, print the length. 1. So just adding 1? That doesn't seem right. Why does this keep on disappearing from the 0? It's getting very annoying. $25. Okay, so now it is working. Gosh, this is so frustrating. What the hell? There. What? What? That is strange. Okay, that's fine. Let's just do this then. So, for each, right? So when you complete for each loop, in the grid array, format. This is so annoying. Format. There we go. Format text. X. Y. Because this is. Well, I don't like changing engine versions, guys. Oh, I'm a moron. I'm such a moron. Damn it, people. Why do I do this to myself? Of course it's only going to return 1. There we go. So now what we're looking for is 6,500, which is not here. Okay, so we have the center point of the world. But how do we round it off to a room? Well, that's fine. So when we get the middle of world, we're going to get the world, so world width, I'm going to delete all of this. So delete this, so world width, I'm going to divide this by 2. So this should, if world width is like 3, then we could just return this, world width divided by 3. So world width, middle of the world is 2. Okay, that's fine then. So we can just divide it. Well, we could just divide it by float. But I think just, no, integer is fine. So we'll divide it by 2. There you go, and press play. So this will basically say, okay, so middle of the world in tile-wise is like 2. Yo, original. And world width and world height is the same. So here's the height. Height. So this is 2 and 2. Okay, so under our set points, we can just remove this because we don't need it. Completed, return the node. Okay, so we saw what that does. We're now all happy. Fantastic. Save everything. Save and compile always. Perfect. So we're going to press play. There we go. World is 2 and 2, which is our middle in a sense. It will take the closest middle, I guess. So then what we do is, with that 2 and 2, we want to now times it into our room size. So get the room size, split it. Now this I want to times a float. So times it by width is x, height is y, and then these two will return a value which we then want to make vector 2D of x and y, and then you want to return. So this is basically going to return our center of the world. This is our world world center room location. Okay. So what's the next thing we want to do? Let's actually, when we say event graph, get the middle of the world. I want to print this world center room location. So print this out. Okay, fantastic. Press play. So there we go, 5,000 and 5,000, which we do know that that is one of our rooms. Great. So now, let's see. What we can do now is, so get the middle of the world that we're not going to put in here though. We're going to probably put it into the set world settings rather. So with the room size and the height and everything, then we can get the middle of the world. Which will then we'll be able to return the world center location. What else can we put in here actually? We can set the points on the grid over here as well, which will then return the world spawn points. Great, and then we return. So this is our world settings. So we create the world settings. Then I want to set points on grid. We're already done. So then generate world. I think we should probably have our world center here. World center room location. So world spawn points. Probably move this down so we can make it. Oh shoot! No, this is wrong. That and that. So disconnect all that nonsense. There we go, and there we go, and connect that. So when we set the world settings, then we generate the world. So what does it mean to generate the world? Let's just rethink this. So in order for us to generate a world, we will have to first create a set. So we're going to create another local variable, and this will be our let's see, this will be our pseudo rooms. So this will just be what could this be? This could be like a structure. So it creates a room and then it sets its connections. So if we have, wait, let me just show you guys on the camera. So if we have our, okay, it's fine. So if we have over here, I'm going to do it here. So basically this is our room. It creates a pseudo room, right? And then it checks, okay, so in this direction there will be a room, and in this direction there can be a room. Well, how would we want to do this? We could basically just have it go randomly. It will place, so it will start at 0, 0, right? And then it places down a room. And then, so this creates like an empty room. And then what we do is we say to the next one, do we create, no, well, we're going to create a room because it's going to move left or up or down. So we could say we create a room at 0, 0. Yeah, we could probably do that. So we create a room at 0, 0. Then we say, okay, choose a random direction to move in. No, we're going to create the room. So here, so set the loop end, that's fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just create 2 more variables because it's going to take a while. Okay, so this will be our room. Wait, this is our center room location. Just so we don't have to keep on dragging off this thing, I'm going to create some local variables. And this will be our local variable, and this will be our room spawn points. There we go. So I'm just going to grab all that, grab this, drag that out, put that away, grab that, drag that there. Perfect. Just make it neat straight off. So we don't have to do it later. So this creates the spawn points. then what do we do? So then what we do is we get the length of this, so we can know when this ends. Yeah, it's a little redundant, but let's just we'll get it like right first, and then we will edit things and change how they operate. So we're gonna start at 0. So, well, we're gonna start at the center room location. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make another function and then say select random move location. Okay. So here we're going to say okay. You know what we're probably gonna need is a variable here. I'm gonna call this something like room created. This is a boolean and it's going to be an array. So the reason we're creating this is because when we generate our world, we're going to try and create a room. So we're going to create an empty room, which is the array entry, with the array index, which is 0. For the first room, it will be 0. Then it's going to have either true or false. So it will be true, which means the room has been created. Then at 1, it will be true. And then like at 2, it can be something like false. And so on and so on and so on. That way we can keep track of which square in our tiles actually has a room in it. Okay, so select a random move location. So what we do is we actually need to pass a couple of things. So we're going to pass the main loop index. We're going to pass the index, and we're going to pass, yeah, that's it. So select the random move location in the loop index. So what does that mean? Well, what we need is a select select of type will be integer, yeah, that's fine. So it will be 0, 1, 2, or 3. So option 1, what would this be? Oh yeah, we just need to drag it in here quickly, just so that it sets everything properly. There we go. So option 1 is 0, option 2, 3, 4. So 2 and 3, and then the index will be okay. So this is what's going to it's going to return the random move location. So let's see, how do we do this? So at the main loop index, so we say room created get a copy, sure. So we need to check, do we have anything in room created at the main loop index? If yes, so if yes, we cannot move in that direction. Well, let's just think. So if we start here and there's a room here and we say move up. Oh wait, no. If there's a room created in the current index. Yes, okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Perfect. So on false, that means there's no room in here. So then it will just return, I think. But I'm going to have a print node as well. Print string. There we go, print string. It's fine, continue. And this will be room not created at index. Skip. Okay, cool. So that's done. So that's the false side of the node. So if there is a room in our current location, what we want to do is we want to move the loop index. We want to add 1 to it. Okay, so we actually need to have a sequence here. So the sequence will be pretty simple. Maybe not even a sequence, we could just have a set of branches. Main loop index, room created. Okay, yeah, so on true, we're gonna need like a bunch of branches. So on true, so if true, then we're going to say, okay, so then at main loop index, right? Well, at room created, get the main loop index plus 1. So this is going to get the room to the left. So our index equals to 0, and no, it's going to say it equals to 5 for now. Okay, so our main loop index is 5. So at 6, so that means the next room, which is that way to our right. So that means that, so at 6, so at room created, index plus 1, that means this is to our right. So there's a room to the right, right? Okay. Shit, I need to think. Fuck. So there's a room to our right, left. So it's going to select the random move location. So it's first going to check which way we can move. Okay, so if we have another variable, and we call this possible move location. So room created. So first of all, it will be room created. So we're going to have, what, 4? Actually, this could probably be a structure, really. We could set this as a structure, but no, we're going to do this possible move locations. So, so if there's a room, that's fine. Okay, so this one is just checking that there's a room. Check that there is actually a room existent on current block. Okay, so this is then going to check if on the next block over, which is to the right, there will be a room. So if true, then possible move locations, we want to add. Shit. Okay, now this will have to be a structure. So there's possible move locations. I do have a struct here. Struct connected room struct. There we go. I do have a structure I created earlier. It's basically going to be let me just show you what it looks like. So it's left, right, up, down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it according to our system where 0, so I'm going to say then up, right, 1, 1, 1, 1. Just need to rename all this. So this will be up, or we could just say something like north, east, south, west. Okay, so north, just gonna do this so it looks nice. East, 1 second, guys. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. East, south, west. Okay, cool. So now that we have our connected rooms, perfect. Just gonna save everything. Great. So we could. What if we spawn the master blueprint room, right? and then depending on, ooh, that could work. That could actually work. So instead of doing it all in the world generation, what we can do is we spawn these master blueprints, right? But the question is, change room. So I'm gonna have an input here and just say this is our room connected rooms, and this will be our connected room struct, right? So if we send it the connected room, we can have like branch okay, wait, we're gonna have to have a couple of things. So we first want to check how many rooms this has, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna check how many rooms this has. So first, create a reroute node and just comment it. So this is check how many rooms are connected. So it's gonna first check how many rooms are connected. How do we do that? Well, the easiest way is we just grab this. Actually, I'm gonna recombine this and set as a local variable and just call this connected rooms, because it'll just be easier to work with and I don't have to drag it out 7 bajillion times. So connected rooms, break. So north plus int parse int to int. There we go. So we need 4 of these. So basically this is going to be 0 or 1, as I'm pretty sure you guys know already. So yeah, like I said, I'm doing this with you guys. It's not like I've prepared for this. I literally just started with this. So now what we do is we want to add these 4 together. So then what we do is we need to do a select great. So option 1 will be, well, this will also be an int there. So the amount of connected rooms is 1, 2, add option. The amount of rooms is actually going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Or we could do a switch. Yeah, I think that'll probably be better. So we don't even need the sequence then. So this will be a switch on int. There we go. Start index will be 0. Selection. So add pin 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So on 0, we wanna it's gonna make. So what we could do is we could make like a, instead of room MVP, we could say room blank. Right, so create a child blueprint and just call this room blank blueprint. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do this, right? No, wait, this is not going to be a child of that. I'm going to delete this. Sure. Okay, I want to create a new blueprint class. It's an actor and just call this room blank MVP. It will also be a master blueprint, but it's fine for now. So room blank, we probably should just copy the script from here. So this function here, delete it all, room blank, change room, right? So boom, 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 Fantastic, save. So on int, this will basically we need a child actor. So now we can just set the class. So what we do then is we get the child actor and we say set class, set child actor class, and this will be a null. So this will just be room blank, right? Then with 1, this will set it to room 1 C1. I just want to make sure that this all works, and then we'll carry on seeing how else we can do this. 2, 3, so this is room 2, this is there, then, shit, we need one more of these. There's different ways to do this. I'm just doing a default. Yeah, the default is going to be no default, so this is room 3, and this is room 4. Should I do that one? Okay, so we're going to save, compile, save, perfect. So we're going to create a bunch of these rooms, right? So in our world gen, where is it? World gen, narrator version 2. So when we create a room, we're going to say spawn actor from class. So this is our room empty, room blank, whatever. The spawn transform will be what we have our inputs. So we need, this is our room locations, and that's basically it for now. Okay, so room locations is a vector 2D array. Oops, vector 2D. Not an array. Fuck. There we go. Break this up. Split this. Split that. X and Y, and the rest is being made. Fantastic. It will always spawn and ignore collisions. So now, when we generate the world, we say, well, I guess it's pretty easy for now. We just do something like this. Just say for each loop, so it gets executed. Array element, yeah, sure. So this is create a room on XY, completed, return, and I also just want to print string and just say world generated. Okay. So create the room. And then what I want to do is I want to cast to room blank. And as room blank, I want to then change the room, which we then pass the possible move locations, get a copy, sure. And we're also going to need an input here, then another one, and just call this, this is index. Great, integer. So there you go. Get that. Fantastic. So, click around move location. I'm just going to say here, possible move locations. I want to, I guess we could set element, set array element. There we go. So, shit, okay. Select a random move location. I'm just going to undo this quick. Remove all that. There we go. So, index, that, target array, item, split the structure, and then I'm just going to say like select bool, no, select, wait, it's random bool, sure. There we go. I need 4 of these because otherwise it's going to return the same shit. Okay, set the array element at 0, and then we're going to see. So this should technically function change room call change room. Oh, that's why, because this is not compiled. Oh, cannot be found connected rooms. Oh, right, because this is create a local variable called connected rooms. Compile. It's not blueprint writable. Bitch, are you mad? No? Okay, strange. Promoter local and just say connected rooms. There we go. Now it works. Jeez. Strange. Continue. That's fine. Awesome. Hey, Mohammed, how you doing? Oh, world generator. For what? What is your error? Where is your error? I don't. Okay, I'm just gonna delete you because I don't actually need you. I'm gonna force delete. So I honestly don't need you. So let's see. There we go. The room blanks are there. Cool. So they are being created. Awesome. For world room blank. There we go. Ah, that's probably the issue. Connected rooms. Split. North, east, south, and west. Okay. It's possible that that was just literally all zeros. Or that what's the errors? Target point. Okay, that's fine. I'm good. Tutorial's good. Thanks, man. Thanks. I'm just literally trying to figure out how would be the best way to do this right now. We're doing like procedural word generation. I just want things to connect properly, you know. So switch on int. I guess we could print the int it's doing. Print string and just print this integer because I want to see what it's saying. So this should print it 25 times 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay. Fine. Let's just there. Perfect. So there should be 2. No, it's still returning zeros. Where is this? Oh, it's already a room we don't need to cast. Good. Then I will not cast. So connected rooms, possible move locations. Or is that not what we're setting? Okay. Random. Oh. And then I guess print a string of this. Get a copy of this index and then print it. Okay. Split, then format text. So north n. Zoom in, make sure we got everything here. So north, east, south, west. So north, you serious? Byte. Oh my god. Byte. North. And there are 4 of them. Why does this have to be so bloody difficult? Why can't I just print out true or false, true or false, true or false? Huh. Print the damn string. Seriously? Zeros everywhere? Question, please. Yeah, go for it. Ask ahead. Wait, select random. Wait, it would help if we actually... Yeah, it would actually help, wouldn't it? So create the room. Well, we need to first actually do the select random move location. Damn it, I'm such a moron. These are all still zeros though. Okay. That's fine. So I guess what we could do is just add, and this is index. Sure, add the index here as well. Main loop. Index 17. And they're all zeros. So, poof. Complex AI, how to make a tutorial. The thing is, dude, the problem for me is I'm not good enough with AI to make a tutorial on it, but I can sure as hell try. Like, I'm doing this live stream thing now, so I try and figure out things with you guys, so you kind of get the thought process. Well, you at least see the thought process. But yeah, no, we can try it. We're eventually going to get to complex AI here. Alright, 1 second, guys. I need to quickly get a package. Alright, I'm back. Okay, so get the middle of the world and you set the points on grid. Oh yes, this is set world settings, that's fine. So when we generate the world, we need to select a random move location. That's fine. Then we need to create the room. Aha. That probably could help as well. Okay, so that's doing something. Let's just check that it's actually spawning things. Alright, there's our blank room. Let's see in there. Oh, I need to find it and eject. So let's find out. So this child actor, room blank because it doesn't have any connections. Okay, so that's probably fine, but let's add something to know that there's actually nothing there. So like an arrow, there we go. Great, I'm going to rotate you 90, make it nice and big, so we can actually, not that big, there we go. Let's just see, we should, we need to make sure it's visible. Okay, there's our rooms. Fantastic. So now they are being spawned. We just need to figure out what is causing them to not move in the place we need to move. So random bool. Set the array element of possible move locations. There's no way that this is just getting errors all the time. Let me quickly try this. North. Okay, so this should get. No, I see. Okay, so something's not right because it's not doing what we needed to do. Okay. Should I then catch that? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Yeah, okay, so it's not being sent properly, obviously. When we're playing GTA again? I don't know, Keegan. I don't know. Hey, who the hell is Keegan? No, it's not Badachi. I'm not sure which Keegan that is. In the future, if I can, I will try. I'm not going to promise anything because, like I said, I'm not very good with AI. But, yeah. Where are we printing? We're printing another thing somewhere, and I don't want to print it anymore, and I don't know where I put it. Create a room. Change room. With the connected rooms. Possible move locations. We send it. The index. Generate world. Create the room. The room. Wait, that's why. And room locations is fine. Possible move locations. So generate the world. We have the select random move location. Then we create the room. Wait. Oh. Wait, I think I know the issue. So we get the loop index, but this is probably getting called before that other function finishes. So we probably should just pass the move location. So inputs, we're going to pass the possible move locations, and this will be the connected room structure, and that's what we're going to pass it instead of this. So when we generate the world and we create the room, possible move location will be for each loop, this is the spawn point. So get the possible move location. I'm gonna get, or should just this? I guess what we could do is we could pass out the random move location. So, 。 Let's see. So if we pass it the generate world, so what we do is we need to get this, then we need to get a copy of the index and drag that into there. Let's try that. Still zeros. The main loop index, which we get here. Oh, MKU. Keegan, what did you play under? Jeez, the MKU guys are even watching. Holy shit. That's awesome. Fucking hell. Oh, here's the fucking print string. Oh no, that's the right print string. Okay, seriously. This should equal to 4. Breakaway. Nah, dude, sorry, I don't really remember. It's like a while ago. I think I still played with MKU like 3.5 years ago, I think, last. Possible move, like, fucking hell. I'm so tired, I can't even think straight. Okay. We need to think, how do we change what room is on? That's fine, yeah, because you're doing auto-saving and shit. Okay. Think. Set the array element. What if we just do this? I'm just gonna go get point. Where is it? Create one. If I just do this and split the structure pin and then say random bool, let's just see what happens then. I mean, there we go. So here's our first randomly generated world. As you can see, it's a mess, but it is working. So this is just selecting randomly which connections are applied, which are not. So we have our first generation done, in a sense. So we just went from generating a flat world by just creating a floor constantly to actually creating possible rooms. Okay, so that's something. So it's probably a nice way to do it. That's actually a very good way to do it, I think. Is we create a bunch of empty rooms, and then each of those rooms gets set up to be the correct room. What do you guys think? I think that's actually a good idea. So now we just need to figure out how we're going to do this. So let's get rid of some of this shit here. So here, I'm gonna remove this. So for each loop, we create the room. And then we need to pass it possible move location. So let's get, so we're gonna do this, select all this, delete it. So on the main loop index, what we need to do is we need to check on the room. We need to see, is there a way to move left, right, up or down, or northeast, southwest. So with our main loop index, so for example at 15, so if we have our 5x5 world, that's 3, 4, 5, and so I'm just quickly drawing it out for myself so I can see how we can get this going. There, and there. So if we start at 15, so this is 0, 5, 10. Now we're going to start at like 10, 11, 12, 13. So that will be our center usually, if I'm not mistaken. So we get the world center. So we're going to start at 13. So what I'm going to do is actually want to print a string of just the main loop index, because I want to start in the middle, remember? So we say we generate not generate world, we set the world settings, we set the middle of the world, right? We get the middle of the world, and then we get the spawn points on grid, and then we create the world. So world center location, we get that. So I think then for that we need to do, in our room spawn points, we need to find an item. We need to find our world center location, center room location. Okay, and then I want to print a string, print string, and I'm just gonna format text here, not like that because it's not gonna work. Format text, and then call this something like, so starting index, and then index. Great, so the index is that, result gets printed. So this is for generate world. Now if we press play, the starting index is at 12. So it will start at the 12th location. So it will start in 12 in our 5x5 world. That sounds fine. So then what we do is we set our where's our main loop index? We need to set that to 12. So now what we do is we're going to create the room. The first room, it's going to create the room there. So create room. There we go. The room locations will be our room spawn points. Get a copy of the reference of our main loop index. So that's our room location. It's probably just be renamed to room location. Alright, the index will be our current main loop index. And possible move locations, I'm going to... Oh yes, we need to actually decide which way we're going to be moving now. So before we create the room, so this will be like last. So here I'm going to print a string and just say decide random move location. Okay. And then print string for create room. And in here, I'm just going to quickly disconnect all this. And then just print a string, print string. And we're going to call this, actually, I'm not going to do change room here. So I'm going to print string and call this room spawned. Great. Compile, save everything. So when we press play, we should see room spawned, decide random move location, then the room was spawned. Fantastic. So actually now this will be called to change room. Change room. Okay. So we're going to be launching our... We might not need index anymore here because we're calling it directly. So when we say create the room, so here is our set world settings, select the points on the grid. We don't need that, we don't need that. So create world, generate world, select random room. Okay, so here we go. So in the generate world, we create the room after we generate the random one. So select random move location. So the main loop index will be there. And then we need to pass out. We need to pass out our possible move locations. So here is our possible, actually, wait, location. So this will be our, I guess, possible move locations. Yeah, sure. We'll keep it as the same naming style. So there we go, possible move locations, and that. All right, so next. So now we just need to decide where we're going to move. So we print a string of the room. We don't need that anymore. Well, we print the main loop index. That's fine. Actually, I guess keep it for now. Let's see what happens once again. So 12. Okay. Where else is it printing a string that it should not be printing a string? Printing a string somewhere else. 12 and then 0. So it's printing this and then create room. Wow, that's the only really next thing that gets called. So anyway, it could be somewhere else. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So we get the main loop index. So I guess now what we want to do is we want to say one second. Okay. I'm gonna have to quickly go for about half an hour just now because I have some other things to attend to. But once I come back, then I shall restart the stream and continue. So I'm just going to finish off this select random move location. Actually, I can probably think about how we can do it if we do this. So we have our point. So I guess I'm going to just do this. Select random int, because this is the first one, right? So in range. So minimum 0, maximum. Oh no, wait, no, we don't need that. We need random int. Random int. There you go, max 4. Okay, so we have 4 options, and then what we do is select. No, not select. It will be switch. This is a switch. Switch on int, and the selection will be there. So now it's going to select 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is north, east, south, or west. And then what it's going to do is we're going to check is room created. Okay, so room created. Okay, so we need a branch for each one of these. So I'm going to design one branch and then go from there. So room created, we need to get the room created at our index. Well, it's going to be a very spaghetti-like piece of code, but that's fine. Okay, we don't need this print anymore, so it's fine. Okay, so probably just put this to local and just call this loop index. Okay, so there we go. There we go. We don't need this or that, then just loop index. So get that at the loop index. Now room created. Cool, so we're going to check is there a room on 0. So is there a room created? If actually we don't need a room create. Fuck. Damn. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go take care of the things that I need to take care of. And I'll think about this for the next about half an hour while I'm AFK. And then when I come back, then I shall see if I figured something out about this. So yeah, be sure to be back in about half an hour if you do want to see how we end this off. I won't be streaming like I did on Saturday because I actually do have a lot of things to do today. So yeah, thank you very much if you tuned in for a little while that I was live. I will be live again, just not right now, in a couple of minutes, like half an hour to an hour. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon.